Hey guys, what's up? Channer here again, and today we're going to be talking about Wrath of the Waste. This is the new set that was released in patch 2.0 or season 3, and we're very early into season 3. I only have about a day played on my character. That's cool and everything, but as I was gearing up, as I was getting sets and stuff like that, one of the most powerful sets early on was this Wrath of the Waste set. And it's very powerful with a limitation of gear, and seeing as like I'm using BK weapons. Now BK weapons are amazing with this build, and I'll explain a little bit further, but I'm using normal versions of these BK weapons. Given that BK weapons are pretty common, I mean set items are pretty common drops, so you'll be getting lots of Bulk Hathos weapons throughout the season. So getting legendary, ancient legendary versions of Bulk Hathos weapons won't be that difficult over time, but this is very early on, so I just have these non-ancient Bulk Hathos weapons. But I mean, for early on, for T6 and even like mid-30 speed greater rifting, these weapons work wonderfully. And the reason being is with Wrath of the Waste set, 6-piece is Whirlwind gains the effect of Dust Devil's runes. Now, Whirlwind, I'm using this right now, and you could see those little tornadoes. Those are Dust Devils. Normally, they do like 120% damage, but the 6-piece automatically gives you Dust Devils, so you could use another Whirlwind rune on top of that, but it makes the Dust Devils do 2,500% weapon damage. That is huge. That is so much damage. And as you could see, like, I'm Whirlwinding a little bit, and I'm getting so many of these Dust Devils out. That's because the rate at which these Dust Devils spawn is based on your attack speed. And Bulk Hathos weapons, not only do you get 10 fury per second just by having the 2-piece, but you also get, during Whirlwind, you gain 30% increased movement and attack speed. So you're running fast, you're getting the bonus attack speed, and there are lots of other ways to increase this, which I didn't like level all my gems yet. So Pain Enhancer, once you get that to 25, every enemy around you that's bleeding increases your attack speed by 3%, which is amazing. And yeah, there's lots of ways to get attack speed, and attack speed is really good in this manner with the just with the 6-piece Wrath of the Waste. Without the Wrath of the Waste, you're not doing 2,500% damage. Tornadoes proccing out of you based on your attack speed. So attack speed is good with this set, but without the set, it's still attack speed. It works really well like this. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, we're really early on into the season. I got about a day played so far, 24 hours, 25 hours, something like that. And I've been mainly using this Wrath of the Waste set, and I've also been using Focus and Restraint, the rings. Now these rings are very easy to obtain. They drop like candy. Candy doesn't really drop. Whatever. You get what I mean. They drop a lot. So Focus and Restraint rings, you're gonna get plenty of them, and early on it's so great because you wear the 2-piece bonus, and now whenever you spend Fury, so while you're Whirlwinding, you're spending Fury, you actually have to hit something for the bonus to activate. But whenever you hit with a resource generating attack or primary skill, deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. Really good. And whenever you hit with a resource spending, so a resource spending attack will give you a 50% increase, and a resource generating attack will give you a 15% increase, and they will work on top of each other. So what I'm doing here is I'm using Furious Charge. Yeah, you don't need to like use Frenzy or Weapon Throw or something like that. Furious Charge generates Fury. So anything that naturally generates Fury, not something that with a rune will generate Fury. So you can't use something like I believe it's... No, it's not. It's the other one, but I just couldn't select it. I knew it was the other one. Like Overpower, Momentum. So Overpower, 12-second cooldown, blah, 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 deals damage, AoE. you guys know what it does. If you put the momentum rune, it generates 5 fury. This doesn't work with the ring. It has to naturally generate. So as you can see, Furious Charge generates 15 fury. It has to naturally generate and naturally be able to hit and do damage. So something like Leap. Actually, I tried Leap and I don't think it worked, which was strange. So it's really just Furious Charge. Furious Charge I specifically like too, because it allows you to travel through the map quicker. Alright, so Focus and Restraint, such a good start. Maybe, like, you know, there are other rings that are really good too. I mean, we still got the SOJs and the Unities and plenty of good rings. But Focus Restraint is a great place to start. Like I said, you're going to get plenty of them. They're easy to work with. And yeah, if you pick them up early on, you don't have much to play around with, definitely use these rings. And this video isn't so much a guide as just kind of an explanation of this set and how it could be really useful early on in progressing. Wrath of the Waste set, like I said, normal BK weapons, Focus Restraint, and you're going to be flying through T6. You don't even need all of that to be flying through T6. Just getting like Wrath of the Waste in general is amazing. Alright, so we are on Torment 6. We're going to do a Rift over here. So let's get in there and let me show you exactly what I've been talking about. Now, as you can see, this little restraint buff right there, I'm getting that for using Whirlwind. And we got some strong arm bracers. And now, as you can see, I'm going to pretty much Whirlwind everywhere, because I get the bonus move speed, right? Whenever I'm Whirlwinding, I get bonus move speed. And now my Furious Charge right there, I use the rune that reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds for every mob that I hit. So that one's really good. But as you can see, like, my gear's not that great. I'm not using ancient weapons, and I'm just absolutely flying through this. And you can see, like, I'm using the Furious Charge to not only buff my damage, but to kind of just travel through the level a lot faster. Wow, look at this movement speed. And I'm just, you know, nearly one-shotting almost everything I come across, which is amazing. Now remember, in order for the Focus Restraint buffs to work, you actually have to hit something. I can't just cast Whirlwind, I can't just cast Furious Charge, so I actually have to hit something with the Furious Charge. Of course, the Whirlwind stuff is pretty much a given, because you're going to be just spamming Whirlwind the whole time you're playing. Fury is not really something you need to worry about because of the BK. And as you can see, like, a day played and I'm already farming T6 this efficiently, can even go into higher difficulties, into mid-30s, do pretty well. Of course, I got to change my gear up a little bit, change up my runes, stuff like that. Whoops. Got a little greedy there. Alright. But yeah, pretty good stuff, guys. I definitely recommend starting out with this set as you're playing Season 3. If you haven't really completed a set yet, or you're not really sure what you want to go for. I mean, in the long run, like, every different kind of run that you're going to do is going to require a different amount of damage, a different amount of defense, and certain builds are just going to naturally be better than others. But everything aside from the Leapquake set, or the Earth set, which, speaking of Wrath of the Waste, Raycore, and Immortal Kings, they're all really good and definitely like Greater Rift 50 plus capable in solo. All really good. You could push with all of them, but out of all the sets, like when it comes to requirement of kind of gear and just starting out, I mean, this set is just beautiful because it doesn't even require like an ancient weapon to do really well. As you can see, I'm doing so much damage and my gear isn't properly statted. Like you can see my, like, look at my gloves, don't even have a trifecta on them. I do have a nice restraint ring, but focus restraint, like I don't have a Stone of Jordan. I don't even have a legendary necklace. Of course, Chilanix chain is something you should definitely want to equip. I do use Warcry charge. It's not completely necessary, but sometimes like you get a lack of monsters and you're just kind of whirlwinding through and then you're all the way down, so you kind of just want to pick yourself back up. But I mean, you're going to use a Warcry anyway because of Chilanix chain. And now, yeah, cooldown stuff, like cooldown is not important. You don't really want to get cooldown aside from like putting it in your helm and maybe on your shoulders. If that, I mean, there's other things you could do too, which is going to leave you with very low cooldown reduction. I have like 15%. I still use Bona Balkathos and Wrath of the Berserker, just primarily because there's not really much better to use because I'm using mighty weapons. Both Balkathos weapons are mighty weapons. So with Weapon Master you get 2 Fury per hit, not really so necessary. Berserker's Rage, you're always spending Fury, so this isn't going to be active too much. So I mean, you got your Ruthless, your Rampage, and your Brawler. Those are the main 3. There's lots of different things you could do. I mean, you know, you could go for Bloodthirst. There's a lot of defensives. I really wouldn't go for Unforgiven. But what I use for Whirlwind actually is Whirlwind Wind Shear. So I get 1 Fury for every enemy struck. And, okay, so here, like, this is mainly a physical build because the Dust Devils are physical. The rune of Whirlwind doesn't really matter so much, because the Whirlwind's doing like 340% weapon damage, but your Dust Devils are doing 2.5k, 2500%. So all your damage is coming from Dust Devils in this build. Your Whirlwind isn't so important. And early on, you're not going to get that much elemental damage. Like, I only have elemental damage on my bracers. That's it. You're not going to get really any elemental damage. You're using BK weapons. You're probably not going to have a good Stone of Jordan, you know what I mean? So it's very minimal either way. Either way, it's extremely minimal. So Whirlwind Wind Shear works really great. Like I said, I got the Furious Charge, Merciless Assault, so that I could kind of travel a little bit quicker, get to the enemies quicker, and get on top of them. And, you know, it generates a tiny bit of Fury, but mainly to get that 50% increased damage buff. Sprint Run like the wind, of course. I mean, you want the sprint, you want movement speed. You could use Marathon if you want. And like I said, the Warcry. Battle Rage, Marauder's Rage. Bloodshed kind of got toned down. No more. It's not as strong as it used to be. So Marauder's Rage is really good if you're doing something where mobs don't die very quickly. You could use Into the Fray, because as I'm coming in right now, like my tornadoes, or I'm just going through things and they're like instantly dying. So the odds of, like, you know, 5-10 mobs stacking up on top of me is very low, so I'm not going to get much benefit from this Battle Rage Into the Fray. Everything that I come across I kill right away, but if it took a little while to kill everything, then everything would kind of get near me, and as more and more things were near me, I'd do more and more damage. So Into Fray is good. Swords to Plowshares is pretty good for healing. You know, it's used. Also, if you wanted to use Reaper's Wraps, that's great. So you get health, you get Fury back whenever you pick up globes through this. That works too. But Marauder's Rage is pretty much basic Battle Rage rune. Yeah, Wrath of the Berserker Insanity, pretty straightforward. We talked about the runes already, and this is what I've been doing for season 2 with like a day-old character. It's been working pretty good, and yeah, that's about it. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you want, like, subscribe, all that good stuff would be much appreciated, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Later.